Hey guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and it's time for my March rewind. So this is a look back at all of the things that I read in March, and a quick review with a thumbs up, thumbs down rating. So in March, I read The Girl Who Circumnavigated Fairyland in a Ship of Her Own Making by Catherine M. Valente. Such a long title. So my month of reading for March was really kind of abysmal. I had a lot to read, and I barely read any of it. And part of it was just that I was in a rut, but it took me half of the month just to read this. It's not a thick book, it's a middle grade book, and it's actually really good. I ended up rating it 5 stars, so it's not even that I didn't like it. I just, for whatever reason, could not pick up a book. I would read 20 pages and then put it down. Even though I liked the 20 pages, it was not good. But this book was. It gets a thumbs up. It's very inventive, very unique, has a great sense of humor, very tongue-in-cheek. One of the things that I put in my review, which will be published during Fairy Tale Fortnight, is that Valente does nonsense better than anyone. And I know that that might seem kind of like a sort of weird compliment, but it's hard to do nonsense. It's hard to pull it off and not make it cloying or obnoxious or just too much. And it wasn't. It was kind of like Lewis Carroll. You know, you read Alice in Wonderland and it's completely bizarre, but it's never too bizarre. You always love it and love what's going on, and it feels really fresh. And it was the same with this. I thought that the tone was perfect. I thought it was something that would really appeal to middle grade readers, teen readers, and adult readers almost equally. Just something in there for everyone. And I think if you read it at different stages in your life, you would pull different things from it. So really, really fun. Definitely worth picking up, especially if you have a middle grade reader in your life that you want to share it with, or if you need some good nonsense. And if nothing else, read it for the running of the velocipedes. I Hunt Killers by Barry Lyga. This, as I said in my IMM for the week, I read pretty much as soon as it came, and it definitely gets a big thumbs up. It was exactly what I was hoping it would be. Dark and grim, of course, but also with a really good dark humor. Jazz, the main character, is likable and very complex and makes you really kind of analyze things and makes you uncomfortable in some ways, which is perfect for something like this. You both mistrust him and root for him at the same time, and just psychologically it works really, really well. I think Barry really hit it out of the park on this one, so if you hadn't heard of this yet or weren't sure if you wanted to pick it up, I would say definitely do so. It comes out in just a few days here, so reserve it from your library, pre-order it, whatever you do, look into this one. The Sweetest Spell by Suzanne Selfors. This one doesn't come out until late August, so I guess I really could have put off reading it for a little while at least. I am going to be talking about it during Fairy Tale Fortnight, and we'll have an interview from Suzanne, but I'm not going to review the book in full until closer to the release date. So I really could have just kind of set it to the side, put it on the back burner for a minute, but I didn't, and here's why. I was born a dirt scratcher's daughter. I'm a sucker for a good first line. I completely judge books by the first line. It definitely gets a thumbs up, but I can't tell you too much about it until closer to the release. However, I will tell you it is a retelling of The Ugly Duckling. You don't get a lot of that tale, so that alone is super awesome. It's just really charming and completely absurd in some ways. It has one of the weirdest premises that I've ever heard, and I just really enjoyed it. Pretty much everything else I read for the month I didn't finish. I did a lot of reading to a certain point and then picking something else up. I think part of that was because of the rut, and part of it was because the things I was wanting to read weren't things that I should have been reading. Before I get to all of the half-read books, I'm going to show you one of the ones that I shouldn't have been reading. Blood Fever by Karen Marie Moning. I read this literally the day that it came. I was homesick, so I kind of just considered it a freebie. I wouldn't have been reading anything anyway, so why not go ahead and work something in there. Really bad faulty logic, I know, but I couldn't help it. Read it pretty much through the day, big thumbs up, love this series, and it was worth a little sneak read. I also started Fae Fever, which is book 3. and read probably about 150 pages before I told myself like I really had to stop and get back to reading things that I was supposed to be reading. So I did set it down, but it is among the half-read books of the month. Slated by Terry. This is another one that I read a good chunk of before deciding that there were other things that I needed to read first, so I set it to the side. I read about 130 pages and really like it so far. I'm eager to get back to it, but I have some other things that took priority. But of what I've read so far, thumbs up. The Hero's Guide to Saving Your Kingdom by Christopher Healy. This one I started right after, really liked what I was reading, but then Blood Fever came in the mail, so I read that, and then after I finished Blood Fever, The Sweetest Spell came in the mail, so I read that, and this one's just been kind of hanging out, waiting for me to come back to it. But of what I've read so far, definitely a thumbs up. It's really fun, and I will be finishing it soon because it's part of Fairy Tale Fortnite. There will be a giveaway, as well as some stuff from Christopher Healy. Yet another reason to check out Fairy Tale Fortnite. Magic Under Stone by Jacqueline Dollimore. Now I know that I probably should have picked up The Hero's Guide instead of starting yet another book, but for whatever reason this one was just calling to me. It was another case of reading the first page and deciding that was what I was in the mood for. And when I've been in a rut, I follow those instincts because forcing myself to read something else isn't going to get me out of a rut, but going with something that's catching my attention at the moment will. So I just started this one. I'm not all that far in, but so far I'm really liking it. I'm going to give it a thumbs up for now. And I think it shows a lot of growth. I loved Magic Under Glass, which was the first book of this, and I also really liked Between the Sea and Sky, which was a companion novel that came out last fall. But I think I'm going to like this one best of all, because so far it's showing a lot of growth in the writing, and I'm curious to see where the story's going, and really liking it so far. So that was my really bizarre month of reading, a lot of half-read books that are going to just be rolled over to the next month because I need to get a move on. You'll find out what else is in my planned month of reading in my April TBR, so make sure to check that out. And if you do your own monthly wrap-up, leave a link or post it as a video response, and I'll be sure to check it out. Happy reading!